Hey, what's up, everybody? We are here. It's a four-man crew. SEC After Dark, man. What's good? Stephen Willis from Locked On Ole Miss, Mike Huseman, Off-Season After Dark, and now a regular on Locked On Vandy. Jake Thomas, your double shot of Alabama coverage.
Yep.
After Dark and Tide Talk Live with Stacey Blackwood. And the absentees are they're on some double O mission. Hammer and Boss Man, I guess. Or Hammer is crafting his Fu Manchu. It's gonna be the greatest Fu Manchu of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Jeb is he's hanging with other people. He said, third Saturday in October? Nah.
Yeah.
I think he's probably getting drunk. But that's my opinion.
He probably is. He's probably slamming a few Corona. What is he? What does he drink? Some Land Shark?
Dos Equis.
Dos Equis.
Yeah.
So he's trying to be the most interesting man in the world. So got it. And I'm Corey Burton, Locked On Vandy and Regular Guys, which I gotta get on the horse with Regular Guys. Locked On Vandy is increased in coverage, so I haven't had time for Regular Guys, to be honest with you. But at some point I will. Anyway, we all come together. It is lava time. Lava time. I feel like we can't get really started until we hit the lava. So anyway, week 8, it is loaded. So round of applause.
And yeah, Kirby.
A round of applause.
I'm clapping. This is a clap.
I'm pretty sure he was complaining about the DB clap, but
yeah,
it's still funny nonetheless. Courtesy laugh. Love it.
Yeah.
So, big game this weekend. Speaking of Kirby, they're really giving it to me. They're really pulling this joke. I love it. Thank you, studio audience. You're selling my joke quite nicely. Anyway, on the phone now, couldn't remember if I put Jackson Arnold or Trinidad Chambliss. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Same guy. Anyway, Ole Miss, Georgia, showdown in Athens. It's the battle of Saban's top 2 assistants. It's the battle of the 2 best head coaches in the conference outside of Clark Lee. See what I did there? Anyway,
and then the boar.
Yeah, Galen Bohr in the black hoodie. Speaking of which, before we get to that, did you see all the Tennessee coaches wearing black hoodies all week?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, they're cooked. Anyway, Ole Miss.
They took their shirts off whenever they played a road game at Ohio Stadium in late December. They're not exactly known for doing good things pregame.
That's true.
Yeah, they need a different pregame coordinator. Maybe they should hire Billy Napier's game changer coordinator.
Well, their office would be looking for jobs anyway, probably. So
that's true. I mean, there you go. But yeah, so your strength program looks like crap because you have dad bods out there. Like those guys aren't ripped at all. Like those guys don't look like top-notch NFL style athletes. They're like
they don't look like Terry Tate, offensive linebacker.
Yeah, they don't.
Cover on your TPS reports. Yeah, so Ole Miss, Georgia. This is going to be a fun one, man. This is a game where if Georgia does not start fast, and this is the analysis is simple here. If Georgia starts the way they started the second half of like all of their games, they will beat Ole Miss, and I feel like they will handle them pretty well. If Ole Miss can start fast, if Ole Miss can start hot, which they are certainly capable of, Steve, I think Trinidad Chambliss has proven that he is an SEC-worthy quarterback. He's proven he can do it with his legs. He can do it with his arm. He's picked up Lane Kiffin's offense. I mean, the people laugh at like the Ferris State thing, and they're like, "Oh, Ferris State, yeah, he's a Ferris State quarterback. He won't last in the SEC." Well, one of Vandy's top playmakers on their offense is from Wabash College, which is also Division II. Might play against Ferris State. I don't know. But like I went to a coach's clinic one year, like many years ago, like probably 4 years ago for this particular session. And I sat in on Ferris. I can't even remember the guy's name at this point, but I sat in on his session about the Ferris State offense. It's a pretty dynamic offense. They do some great things concept wise. I mean, it's electric. So this guy's used to playing electric style of football, and man, it's going to be a fun game to watch, man. It's going to be I put as our on our thumbnail heavyweight bout. I think that's exactly what it's going to be.
Yeah, it's one of those games that I don't think it's going to be more than one score any direction at any point during the game. I think that's what's going to happen. Georgia hasn't been the most explosive team offensively, even whenever their defense has gotten stuff going in the second half of games. That's the reason, honestly, they couldn't beat Alabama was the offense, not the defense. The defense came through and did what they had to do. But the one thing that gives me hope in this game, a lot of hope actually, more hope than before, is the coaches show for Ole Miss came out, and they do that like Hard Knocks type thing on the coaches show. And at the end of it was the end of the Washington State game.
Georgia does that too. It's a Curtis Smart All Access or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And they went to the locker room and it was quiet. It was like a funeral after beating Washington State. And then Lane Kiffin proceeded to go Nick Saban on all of them in the locker room, just screaming that this isn't the standard and this isn't how we built this. And I'm like, they're about to go beat Georgia. This is different. This is not something that Lane Kiffin did before. Whenever Ole Miss lost to Kentucky last year, there was nothing like this. This game, he fully embraced the Nick Saban role and just completely tore into them, which that makes me think they're going to start quick as long as the game plan, you kind of pick the right things that Kirby isn't assuming that you're going to pick and is game planning for it. If Lane Kiffin, which he is known for scripting an offense, and they get off to a quick start, it could be, if it was 10-0 at Auburn, it might be 21 in that similar situation in this Ole Miss game based off of Lane Kiffin early on.
Well, they execute better, but real quick before anybody else jumps in, another Nick Saban tactic that led to the screaming in the locker room is I think sometimes Bill Belichick would do this, Nick Saban would do this, and they would – I wouldn't say they intentionally tanked the game. He knew he could beat Washington State without really preparing for them, and he was probably low-key very happy that they played like crap because he could go lay into them. He could lay into them all week at practice. You guys suck. You guys, this is not going to cut it against Georgia. This is, that's not going to cut it. And just kind of, he can do that all freaking week. And that's a tool right there that Nick Saban would utilize. Nick Saban loved it when he would love, and Jake, you know this better than all of us. He loved to find little things that Kirby Smart does this too, to get onto the team about all week long.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I got a lot of commotion in the background right now. It's a little crazy, but
yeah, I was trying to figure out where it was coming from. That's the reason I was randomly muting and unmuting.
Yeah, it's me, but this game it's gonna be fun because I want to see Georgia after what happened last week against Auburn. I want to see them start fast because they really need to in this game because Ole Miss is capable of putting up points in a hurry. So I feel like Georgia's going to have to start quick to keep up in this game. Their defense isn't similar, isn't as good as it has been under Kirby. But Kirby and Glenn Schumann makes the halftime adjustments and make adjustments on defense. So, they may get off to a hard start, Ole Miss that is, but come the second half, Ole Miss is going to have probably a tough time punching into the end zone. So Ole Miss really needs to get up 14, 17 points before halftime in order to probably get and keep that lead moving to the fourth quarter.
I was thinking about this game, and it was like, you know what? Against Arkansas, they did two game plans. Charlie Weiss and Joe Judge and all that, they did two separate game plans. Do something in the first half, let Kirby adjust to it, and completely go to a different game plan in the second half. I mean, Kirby and Georgia is so good at adjusting to what you're doing. It can't hurt to do something, or at least keep some concepts. It's like, hey, this stuff's working. What's the counter to it after this gets adjusted to?
Or just simple formation adjustments. I mean, motions and formation adjustments. This defense is not – they don't communicate well across the board. You can see that. You saw that, I mean, where they were just giving up – they were just getting gassed in the first half against Auburn. They weren't communicating. And when they finally started communicating and Auburn kind of went into the tank, lo and behold, they blow them out in the second half. Mm-hmm. So, Mike, I mean, we talk about numbers, and you and I do Vandy games by the numbers. Like, what do you notice about Georgia? What do you notice about Ole Miss? Like, what do the numbers say about this matchup?
I think Georgia's fortunate to be where they're at this point. I will say I was lower on them going back to the summer more than most people. And as they played a few games, I looked at them and, said and believed when they play teams that throw the ball well, they're in trouble. Where they've been fortunate schedule-wise is their last two teams have not been doing that. Tennessee scored 40 on them, they won. Alabama beat them. And Kentucky and Auburn can't throw the ball. Ole Miss is the 8th best throwing team in the country. They're going for 311 yards a game. And I think they're in a very good place to exploit where Georgia's not great on defense. Georgia's an elite run defense. It's the only thing they're elite at. They're not as good at covering the pass. I think it gives Ole Miss chances for big plays there.
You know what, Mike? If you go to gamesonpaper.com, you can search every game out there, and they do like analytical stats like Ole Miss's offense versus Georgia's defense, and Georgia's defense versus or Georgia's offense versus Ole Miss's defense. And you looked at that, and the one side is green and the other side's red, depending on who is winning the matchup in their mind. Ole Miss wins like 85% of the matchups. But if you look at it on FanDuel, even though Ole Miss has 80% of the bets and like 75% of the money, the line's not moving. That usually means that Vegas knows something and they're setting a trap. So it's basically nobody knows on this game. Nobody can get a read on this game.
It's because everybody feels like Ole Miss has kind of been all over the place, and Georgia just can't. Georgia's just not as elite as they used to be, which in the transfer portal era, I don't think anybody is. But it's just this. Both teams are like, you don't know if Georgia's going to be clicking offensively, if they're going to be able to control the ball. They're a methodical ball control team, which is crazy because they have Zachariah Branch and Noah Thomas, but they should be more explosive, but they're not.
The person they fed the ball down the field to is London Humphreys.
Yeah, it's like, what are we – what? Yeah, it's crazy. And Lawson Lucky is the other one that gets the downfield throws. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
And they try – I mean, they do a lot of screens. A lot of screens.
They do a lot.
If you're good at defending screens, you're going to be good at defending Georgia. That's for sure.
I think because they're not great at throwing the ball downfield. It's just not one of Stockton's strengths.
Yeah, and you would think that, like, I still don't feel like they've tailored the offense to Gunnar Stockton all the way. Like, I think if they
probably
were
true.
I think if they were smart, they would go to a more RPO-based, quick to intermediate focused, and really focus on using what Gunnar Stockton does well. Read the point of attack and run.
Well, I also think that they're waiting to get to the bye week because they're down a safety. I think their best safety is going to be out versus Ole Miss, but they're also down at least an injured player on both sides. Both tackles are at least dinged up.
Yeah.
And whenever you have problems on the offensive line, you're going to have some problems with the offense no matter what you want to do. Now, they do a fantastic job run blocking. And this is I've said all week, this is the simplest game that Ole Miss is going to play. It is all based on what Georgia's run game does. If they're able to run the ball and they can death march you to where it's 2nd and 6, 3rd and 2, first down, 2nd and 6, 3rd and 2, first down, you're going to lose the ball game. If you can force a 2nd and 8 and get into the long yardage where Pete Golding can do some of his exotic stuff and try and put those tackles at risk, that's where Ole Miss can win. That's when the passing game for Ole Miss can make it to where maybe Georgia can't score enough. to catch up. And there's so many different ways it could work, but you also have Trinidad Chambliss that's going to be playing in front of 95,000 people. And you just don't know that he's not going to freak out. Now, I don't think he's going to freak out, but nobody can say that one way or another because he's never done it before.
The first false start will tell you, the first crowd-based penalty will tell you exactly what he's going to do and how he responds after that, because that's what kind of gives life to Georgia's defense, and that's when they really kind of come after you. So that's a factor to look for. What happens after the first couple of crowd-based penalties? Remember when Arkansas came in a few years back? It was during one of the national championship seasons for Georgia. They came in. Arkansas was like top 10 in the country. And they absolutely
wasn't that the one good year they had with Pittman, the 9-win year in like 20.
I think so. And they got shellacked against Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean, they got 40-pieced in like the first half. I mean, it was brutal.
Mm-hmm.
And they just completely wilted under that pressure. Like that was at Notre Dame that in 19 when they came, and they got like 20-something false start penalties or something. It's some stupid number of false start penalties, and Brian Kelly turned every shade of red that you can imagine during that game, and that was crazy too. Like this crowd can affect you if you let it. Alabama did not let this crowd affect them.
Yeah, Alabama had one false start the entire game.
Yeah. And also it's important to know, if this Georgia defense has trouble communicating, crowd noise actually will affect them in that situation too, because they're trying to get the offense to jump. So if those motions, there's a chance with the tempo and the motions and all of that, some communication issues could be happening, because as Lane Kiffin, he will tell you, he doesn't care about crowd noise because they don't communicate that much. It goes to the play call. It's put your feet in the ground and go.
Okay.
Kirby is a matchup-based defense.
Yeah.
So they're going to try and move and match all over the field. The crowd noise, believe it or not, at home games hurts the Georgia defense from time to time.
Yeah. And that's a good point. I mean, that's probably why, because when they had those veteran-based defenses, when they had those mature guys in there on those national championship teams, like they actually found a way to communicate through all of that, and teams couldn't do a jack diddly do against them because they were just so elite and so on the same page that you just weren't gonna, like, especially that team that only gave up 6 points a game, like the historically best defense in college football. They communicated extremely well, even through the crowd noise, even through all of that, because they probably worked on it. They probably went to Kirby and was like, "Hey, we need to work on this. Like, this is something like we need to do crowd noise." For
it also helped that they had like 10 first-round picks on that defense.
Yeah.
That's true too. I mean, they became first-round picks. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
The backup linebacker got drafted in the 3rd round. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And this is where talent meets opportunity. And
all of the D-line went to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Half the defense went to Philadelphia.
Corey,
half the defense went to Philadelphia.
Let me
not a lie.
Corey, let me ask you this, because I think it's you kind of see it play, playing a big part in this. But how much is Will Muschamp being missed, being on that field, and even though he was a co-defense coordinator with Schumann, but now he's like an off the field analyst, so he's not like on the field anymore, and you can kind of see this defense just isn't, as tough. I know Kirby is a defensive mastermind, but when you had him and Muschamp together, that's when their defense was daggone good. Now you don't have Muschamp there.
Well, here's where you miss Muschamp is between series when Kirby's being a head coach, because that's what he is.
Right.
You would have Muschamp and Schumann talking. Like that's who he would go to most of the time, and Kirby would chime in every once in a while. But obviously, because that's what he does. But it was mostly Muschamp coaching him along on all the calls. And like if it was a bad call, Muschamp would be in his ear going, no.
Yeah.
Let's this is what they're doing. Let's do this. And like Muschamp was the mastermind behind a lot of those adjustments.
Right.
In game, like halftime adjustments, Kirby, Schumann, very, very good. But like in game, like if Muschamp was there, I think maybe Auburn gets that one series, but I think that would have been it.
Yeah. And this, before we pick this game and everything, Nick Saban was a master of like an even killed game. Don't get too high, don't get too low, just kind of do it. And it's interesting because last week, both of these teams had struggle wins.
Mm-hmm.
Lane Kiffin completely went Nick Saban in the locker room, yelling at his team and doing all that crazy nuts. Kirby Smart was dancing on a medical table.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was doing belt to ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
that's the dance.
That is not the behavior of somebody that thinks he's a juggernaut. That was the behavior of somebody that thought, hey, we are lucky to win this game. And that was an emotional release is what that was.
That was also the emotions of a guy who played in that rivalry too.
Yeah.
And that game right there, like, I don't think he does that for any other game. I mean, he does things, but like not to that degree, because I think if you ask Kirby, that is his most hated rival.
Yeah.
That he ever played against. So
what he just did is just created a roller coaster, the up and down.
And maybe he read his team well enough to know at the end of that game, they need me to celebrate this. They can't have me get on him right now. And
yeah,
I guess if he thought that's what they needed, I trust him to read that room better than anybody else.
It wouldn't shock me if he just completely released everything emotionally and that, like, because of the years, because I think Auburn beat them like all 4 years that he played against them as a player. Like, I think it was pretty lopsided when he was playing in the Jim Donnan era of Auburn. Like, Jim Donnan couldn't beat Auburn, Tennessee, or seemingly Georgia Tech.
Or Florida, right?
Or Florida.
Or the Gators when
you'd go 8-4 every year. Like, he was
it was like Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Okay.
Georgia 8-4.
I was going to make this joke, Steve, on the squad show, but I didn't get the chance to. They were like, yeah, it's weird to see Texas A&M with a 4 associated with them. I go, yeah, because it's usually preceded by 8 and.
Yeah.
That would have been a good one.
That's good.
I didn't get the opportunity. I think Jay was talking probably.
Tomorrow night, I am rooting so hard for Louisville, by the way. So hard for Louisville.
Who they got?
Miami.
Oh, yeah.
And Miami's going to be fine, but ESPN's doing crazy, like showing video of Ed Reed and Ray Lewis and the old Miami teams. Like, Miami's back.
They're not even close to that.
No, those teams would 40 burger this Miami team.
Yeah.
40 burger. They would forfeit.
Yeah.
Against that Ed Reed team.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. That
in
was
the other ACs. We're making history in the other ACC game tomorrow night, though, with North Carolina and Cal. First FBS game since 2009, lefty versus lefty quarterback matchup.
Interesting.
Ooh. Hey. Well, lefties unite.
Yeah.
All right, let's pick this game.
Well, I'll start it off. I'm going to obviously take Ole Miss. To not just cover, I think they can win the game outright. And I was on the Amazon College Football Kickoff show this morning, and everybody picked at Ole Miss. It was a pretty clean sweep. Well, Gary Patterson didn't because he doesn't pick, but he told me
he would have picked Ole Miss probably.
Yeah, he talked about some pretty cool stuff. He mentioned that Kirby needs to try to be less Kirby-like in this game because if he is, Lane will eat him alive. As far as what he knows, because everybody knows the playbook now when it comes to those Saban assistants. They all do the same thing. He also mentioned that Trinidad Chambliss and the running game for Ole Miss don't do the pin and pull, don't do the slow developing stuff straight at the Georgia line. That is the avenue to gash that, and I think that's going to happen. And then if Kirby puts a spy on Trinidad, that's one player that they have to take out of the normal defense, which should make the rest of the offense a little bit more effective. So I like Ole Miss in this game, not by much, but I do like them to win outright, 21-20-ish.
Okay, Jake.
I haven't, Alabama has not played Ole Miss, and I don't know at this point if I want to or not, but we played Georgia. Georgia is good, but they're not elite like they have been in the past. They are beatable. This year's team is very beatable. And Ty Simpson making, his second true road start against them. He didn't look phased. I think Trinidad's going to be making his second true road start because
this is his first.
His first
this
one.
is his first.
So, like Steve mentioned earlier, how the emotions with that going to be, and Alabama did a good job, like we mentioned earlier, about not having false starts, not letting that crowd, get into the game and hindering their offense. If Trinidad in this offense for Ole Miss can quiet the noise early on and then weather the storm of the second half and at least keep Georgia at bay in the second half, don't let them, score too many points. I think Ole Miss can be up by 17 and a half, and then Georgia will make a run. But I think Ole Miss will still win by a touchdown, so I'm going to pick Ole Miss.
By the way, side note, old man Flacco is absolutely carving up the Steelers, by the way.
That is crazy.
I mean, he is just dicing them up. He's been on the squad for like 7 days.
Yeah.
He also played him like 2 weeks ago.
That's fair.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, dude. He is like 100 years old. He just now picked up Zach Taylor's playbook, and he is just freaking carving them up, man. It's insane.
We're TJ Finley levels of practice here and winning a midweek game.
Yeah.
We're talking about practice, Mike. How do you see this, Mike?
I'm on Ole Miss in this one. I looked at this one right away, and my instinct just was, I love Ole Miss in this, and I think they're going to win outright. Then I did a deeper dive into the numbers, and it's, maybe I wasn't giving Georgia as much credit as I should have in some areas. So I do think this is a competitive game. It's a massive matchup, but there's two reasons why I like Ole Miss a lot. One of them I talked about, they can throw the ball very well, and I don't like Georgia's pass defense. The other one, in looking at the numbers, I could see Georgia's defense at the end of this game getting very worn down. Their third down defense, 86th ranked in the country. Ole Miss is very good at converting third downs. They're 16th in the country. If they're continually getting in those spots, getting third and manageables, converting, sustaining drives, that's going to bode well for them in the end of the game, like it would for anybody. And I think Ole Miss gets it done.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm obviously on Georgia here because the main reason is I have a hard time picking against them at home. They've only lost twice since 2017 at home. One of those was a couple of weeks ago to Alabama, and then the other one was to Mike, your Gamecocks, in Will Muschamp's last season as head coach.
Last decade.
Yeah, last decade, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's for that reason. Like I think if it's close, especially at halftime, I think Georgia's gonna end up winning this game. They're not gonna obviously run away with it, but I do think they do. I think they cover barely because Steve, you said the 2 game plan thing. It's like kind of like having 2 quarterback system. Like there's going to be some holes in like the second game plan because you got to like readjust yourself too as well. And I would caution against just having 2 completely separate game plans because I know that some of the logistical nightmares that can happen with that. Obviously, pick some wrinkles that you want to unveil in the second half. That's totally fine, but not like a whole new game plan. I think that you just kind of get into, like what if you start slow? Like you're going to start slow after halftime too. Like, so I could see that getting thrown out the window, but I could see, hey, if we start gashing them on this, we have this wrinkle for the second half that they're going to struggle with. Like that is perfect. But
yeah, and Jackson Arnold could not throw the forward pass in that game. He could not throw the ball. So therefore you couldn't take advantage of any situation in the secondary.
Jake finally caught on to what I was doing.
We're on island time here. Island time.
Yes.
Yeah. So, all right, third Saturday. Obviously, a very huge matchup. Texas versus Kentucky. Oh,
yep.
No, third Saturday, October. Bama, Tennessee. This is a very if you're listening to the show and you don't know it, I don't know what to tell you. But in case you are listening to the show and you don't know it, this is I don't want to say low key, but this is a very, very heated rivalry. Like these two teams hate each other. Like there's some Bama fans you'll ask, do they hate some Bama fans will tell you they hate Tennessee more than they hate Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
And Tennessee fans are like, well, we hate Alabama more because Vandy hasn't really been hateable enough to surpass Alabama. So Bama's their number one.
Do you know why that is the case, Corey?
Why is that?
That is because they didn't play Auburn until the 50s again. That series disappeared. So the history of a rival was the Tennessee Vols and General Neyland and that period. That's the reason that rivalry was allowed to go. And then their other rival was Georgia Tech, and we all know what happened there. So
yeah, Steve.
Yeah.
Steve,
you ran him off. You ran him off.
I don't know what happened. What did happen?
There was a late hit on a punt return that caused Georgia Tech to basically force and leave the SEC. That's the reason they left the Southeastern Conference. Bear Bryant and Bobby Dodd basically quit being friends. And then when they made up a couple years later, they tried to get back into the conference, but they couldn't get the votes. And you know why they couldn't get the votes, Mike?
Georgia?
Because
he voted no.
Because Bobby Dodd refused to come to the state of Mississippi. So Mississippi State and Ole Miss just like, no, you want it out, you can stay out.
Yeah.
Is that a segregation thing why he refused to go there?
No, it's just because it was hard to get there because it's two rural towns in Mississippi. You'd have to go to Memphis and then bus down. So he was big on easy to get to type places.
Old Bobby Dodd.
It's great. Steve was, spitting knowledge at 20 years old in 1950, so he knows all about it.
I was there.
Yeah.
Steve was like, "Yeah, see, we're gonna vote no to Bobby Dodd." See?
Georgia Tech. Yeah, but the reality is, if there's expansion in the SEC, the next two teams should come in as Tulane and Georgia Tech. I don't care what anybody says.
I agree. I'm fine with that.
I'm with you there.
I'm not on the Georgia Tech one, and I'll tell you why. The Atlanta market is already owned by the SEC. I don't see you adding anything by getting them.
You make that a conference game, and you make that
it's not about adding anything on that. It's just about correcting mistakes. Now, Sewanee can't come back to the SEC, but you can grab the others.
They could, but that would give LSU a natural Louisiana in-state rivalry, which would be fun.
This year, Tulane would at least scare the hell out of them.
Absolutely.
I mean, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about
the Gamecock fan in me would be okay with Clemson coming in too.
Yeah,
make that rivalry a conference game.
Yeah, because you don't really need to take the Carolinas because the SEC kind of owns South Carolina already. But like you bring in that as a conference battle. Same with Georgia Tech. You bring that in as a conference battle, and for Georgia Tech's sake, you bend some fences there that Steve obviously ran over with his tank. Yeah. See. Anyway, let's talk about this matchup. Ty Simpson, Joey Aguilar, Greg McElroy throwing some shade at Tennessee.
But the former Alabama quarterback throwing shade at Tennessee's quarterback?
No
way.
That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen.
Let me calm down and get my outrage meter up, whatever.
Jeez. Yeah. So Jake, how do we see this matchup? Alabama's red hot, dude.
Yeah, Todd Simpson's red hot.
Or should I say they're black hot based on the hoodie?
Yeah. No, it's going to be a good matchup. The biggest thing for me in this game is, Tennessee's pass defense is not great, but they have a great pass rush, and this is going to be the best pass rush. Yeah, that's going to be the best pass rush that Alabama has seen. And our offensive line is still having trouble, giving up pressures and getting, sacks. Now, Ty has admitted some of those sacks were on him in the last couple of weeks. But, I think defensively, Alabama still isn't the best with run defense. They're pretty solid at pass defense, but they're going to be tested this weekend with Joey Aguilar. That's going to be the best quarterback they've seen this year.
What I've noticed about Joey is he's super efficient. He just doesn't really, and they don't take a ton of deep shots. But they make them count when they do. Like Chris Brazzell is outstanding. He's making a ton of plays. they're just so efficient in what they do. And that's exactly what a Josh Heupel offense should look like.
And their O-line has regressed a lot in the run game. They're a good pass blocking team.
Yeah. And both of these teams,
Is this true?
Well, no, he's probable now on the availability list.
Rick gave me a heart attack. There was like, what? I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, he's probable.
Whoa. I was like, cooked.
No.
Y'all are cooked.
No.
You're not.
But yeah, if Alabama can at least have some rushing attack and be be okay running the ball a little bit and allow Ty to find some open receivers, I think there's going to be plays to be had in that Tennessee secondary. And Ty's like red hot and he's pretty accurate right now on the deep balls. So and I think our defense will do just enough to get a couple of 3 and outs, which allow our offense to get back on the field. And Alabama right now, been efficient on offense, has controlled the time of possession clock in the last three or four games. So that could be huge to not allow Tennessee a lot of time on the field to especially if they got to make a comeback and win a ball game.
Yeah, no doubt. And Mike, it was just something that for Alabama, like they're just, again, Ty he's great at escaping pressure. Yeah. He's great at just off platform throws and being able to set his feet, just throw missiles down the field. And he just doesn't miss. He's a gamer, dude. And that's
Michael Penix.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason right now he's 4th in the Heisman Trophy odds and well deserved.
Yeah. And maybe should be first.
He's the highest SEC player.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a dude. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He is an absolute dude.
The problem will be for Alabama when they play a team that doesn't have a number next to their name. When they go on the road to Williams-Brice Stadium and Willie B.
God, don't give me hope, Steve. Don't give me hope.
We'll find out next week for sure.
We saw this movie last year in Oklahoma.
Willie B.
But
it's a different team.
It's a different team. It might very well be that way, but this team laid an absolute egg against Florida State, and that looks worse by the moment, that loss.
Effort thing there for sure.
Yeah. So right now, whenever they're clicking and whenever they're good, they are really good. I just am not sure if they can maintain being good over a large period of time. Ole Miss got lucky this past weekend against Washington State. They did. Yeah. When Alabama has that game, do they get lucky? That's my point, because I think that game's coming. I think that game comes for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Alabama strikes me as a team who they can absolutely beat anybody. I don't know that I see them putting together 4 good playoff games in a row against elite teams, though. I don't know why. It's just one of the things I feel right now.
It's
Miami. I don't think Miami can do it. Maybe they can.
But like, who can? Like, somebody's going to just like
Ohio State can. I think.
Can they? I haven't really watched Ohio State.
I ain't really watched Ohio State either.
Yeah, so I really don't know. But
maybe I'm giving them credit for last year too in saying that.
Well,
yeah, maybe because there's nobody that really jumps off the page in college football. Maybe
Indiana. Maybe.
I mean, they
tough to doubt them after Oregon.
It's tough to doubt them. However, they just don't have the pedigree for me to say definitively yes.
I don't think there's any elite team this year that you look at and like, okay, they are clear to me.
Like this,
that's right.
You can look at Indiana and say, yeah, they're elite because of what they did to Oregon. Like, that's elite football. But when you scale that out over 4 playoff games, you're like, can they do that over 4 playoff games?
Right.
And you're like, well, no. Can Ohio State? Well, no. Can Miami?
No.
Well, no. Can Alabama? Well, no. So on and so forth.
You want to get into? Let's get into Big Ten after dark for a second.
Oh, love it.
Everybody said that Oregon is an elite team, and them winning in State College, Pennsylvania, was the proof of them being an elite team. And then Penn State just tanked the following weeks after that.
Yeah.
So how impressive is Oregon's only win, which is at the whiteout game against Penn State, really, as far as the big name coming through, and just get on their home field, getting absolutely beat down. Because if you look at what happened in that Indiana game, it should have been a lot worse. That score was flattering.
Yeah.
And Indiana and Ohio State are by far, in my opinion, the best teams in the Big Ten. I do not think that Oregon is very good right now.
No, they're not. I mean, they have a freshman quarterback, and they're just not. They're not. I mean, they're good. They're just not elite. Like, and there's not really another team. They're probably the third best team in the Big Ten because there is nobody else. Like Illinois is.
Illinois got killed by Indiana.
We're looking at an outside chance Washington makes the playoffs this year. It could happen. They have one loss. Might
Yeah,
happen.
I mean, they could run.
They got to beat Michigan and Michigan in the Big House this week.
I'm not sure that's hard to do.
Yeah, it's not, but it's still
USC, Charmin Soft threw a bunch of toilet paper rolls at them to beat them. Like that should tell you.
I'm surprised USC has only lost 2 games, but
another team we all left for dead and buried a month and a half ago. But in our playoff talk, Notre Dame's going to be there in the end. I think not in the title, but they're going to be in the playoffs. I think, and the way they're playing now,
Marcus Freeman can coach, man. He has zero room for error, but they had zero room for error last year, and look, they ended up in the national.
Their last big threat is this weekend.
Yeah, I think this weekend there's a lot of people that are rooting for USC outside of like normal fans, like people really that don't want Notre Dame in the playoff because, if Notre Dame wins this game, they're going to run it.
Everybody in the ACC and Big 12 should root for USC because you might get an extra team in there if Notre Dame doesn't make it in the playoffs.
Yeah, and one of those teams could be Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know how for real they are.
Oh, okay. Here we go, Corey. Let me bring this up real quick before we make picks and all
SEC.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go ACC after dark a little bit. Or let's say Ole Miss beats Georgia to where Georgia has a second loss.
Mm-hmm.
They run the table up until the last game before you go to Mercedes-Benz Stadium to play the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Both teams are playing essentially for a playoff berth.
Oof.
Oh.
Talk about how toxic clean old-fashioned hate could be if that happened.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
You'll understand why it's a rivalry. If that's the case, because people are like, Georgia Tech's not a rival. Georgia beats them every year. No, wait till Georgia Tech is good. You'll understand why that's a rivalry.
And they're getting better each and every year.
Yeah, they are.
And I'll be the first. I've never really seen it because ever since I've been in the South, Georgia Tech hasn't been any good.
Georgia Tech's
up until now,
until Brent Key took over.
Yep.
In the 90s, that whenever they were before Paul Johnson, there was a nice little run. I think they won a national championship or something in 1990.
They shared with Colorado, but they had George O'Leary was outstanding. They had like Joe Hamilton. They were just regularly beating Georgia, and then Chan Gailey came along and just ruined that. Even the years he had Calvin Johnson and couldn't win games.
Yeah,
the ACC.
That's insane.
Yeah,
that guy's a freak. Of course, he had Reggie Ball playing quarterback, which I think Jake, you and I could play quarterback better than Reggie Ball. There was one year where they're like, "Yeah, Reggie Ball's Georgia's best player," because he was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
He threw the ball away on 4th down with the game on the line. He just threw it away.
We've seen people do that.
The Joe Milton joke. Yeah.
Where do you think he got it from?
Right.
Joe Milton got it from.
Yeah.
It's not a Joe Milton original. That's for sure.
The only person that didn't want to throw something that night was Joe Milton.
That's classic. But
oh
gosh. Yeah. So going back to Tennessee, let's full circle this thing.
Yeah.
Alabama. If Alabama can get this game down to a grind, they'll win it. I think if it starts getting into a score fest, I don't know that they can keep up. I doubt if they can keep. I don't know.
I think it's the opposite. Now, granted, Tennessee's defense is awful.
Yeah,
They They do. They have some nice explosives, like through sacks and things like that. Yeah, but other than that, they're bad. Arkansas, if they had 5 more minutes, they'd have beat them.
Yeah,
and that tells me if it's the only chance that Tennessee has is a shootout, because Alabama, especially if Jam Miller isn't on the field, can't run the football. So maybe you want a rock fight if you're Alabama or something like that. I'm not 100% sure how it looks. I know that Tennessee has not been able to win in Bryant-Denny in decades at this point. So I'm not going to believe in them to win this one now, you know?
Yeah, and especially when their defense is very shaky. Yeah. I'll go ahead and give my pick. I got Bama for that reason right there. I think Bama is very opportunistic. I don't know that they can win an absolute score fest, but I do think if they get a few opportunistic opportunities, see what I did there. I think they can hit some big plays and really shift the momentum in their favor. But they would prefer to win with, a little bit of a running game with some shots and some short to intermediate nickel and dime you to death down the field. And they want to hold the ball. They want to control the ball. Yeah. It's evident in every single one of their wins. They dominate time of possession. Missouri, Vandy. I'm not going to count the other ones because those are awful games. But that's what they want to do. And Tennessee wants to score. I just don't know. I don't know. I think they can. But I at the same time, I think that type of game favors Tennessee. But I'm going to take Bama because their defense, I think, can get after Aguilar a little bit and force him into some mistakes. And I think Bama can pull away just enough to stretch this thing out.
I'm going to take Bama as well. I just, until Tennessee wins in Tuscaloosa, I'm going to assume that they can't.
That's fair. Mike?
At 8.5, I'm taking the Vols to cover this one. Tennessee, everybody's going to score on them, but to what you guys were saying, I think Bama controls the clock enough. It's not as high scoring as a lot of Tennessee's games because we have limited possessions, and Tennessee's going to score on most teams they play. So I think Bama wins. I think Tennessee covers. Also, for whatever reason, in the entire season of us doing these picks, and we have the spreadsheet, this game took me longer to pick than any. I had no idea with this one. I was looking so deep into stuff and just kind of in a brain fog, like who is going to cover this game? And in the end, I went with the Vols, but I have almost zero faith that my pick will be accurate.
Jake?
I'm picking Alabama. One thing I want to mention is, Alabama's defense. Everybody's talked about them. National people, pundits have talked about them. We've talked about them. But if you look in the second half, you talk about adjustments. Against Georgia, they don't give up 7 points. Mm-hmm. Against Missouri, they gave up 14. But one of those scores was a fumble in the very first possession coming out of halftime. That's at the 20-yard line already, so that's pretty much a give me. So honestly, they only gave up 7, which is that prevent defense they gave up, and then they didn't give up any second half points to Vandy. So Alabama makes the adjustments at halftime and kind of tightens up on defense, but for some reason they always give up a busted coverage play and give up a big either a touchdown or a busted run play that goes the distance as well. And I don't know why, but I think as the game goes on, this defense tightens up and plays really well. So I think Alabama's defense gets a late turnover to seal the deal.
All righty. Speaking of Vandy, they have a nice one here. First time since 1977, they're favored over a top 10 team. First time in 51 straight conference games they've been they're a favorite. They've been an underdog in the previous 51 straight, and I don't know where that leaves us date-wise, but it's a pretty impressive stat.
Wild to me that streak is broken when you're playing a top 10 team, by the way. Yeah. You're favored against a team in the top 10. How does that happen?
You're not even favored over Kentucky, during that run. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but LSU comes to town. 60% chance, according to ESPN.
Yeah.
2.5. the line bumped up in Vandy's favor. I mean, it's still a pick 'em,
Yes.
but it went from 1.5 to 2.5. They're like, I don't know what Vegas knows, but breaking down this matchup is this, and I did a crossover with Matt Moscona of Locked On LSU, and what really kind of gives me confidence in Vanderbilt being able to win this game is really the fact that Garrett Nussmeier in this offense has been, the word he used was enigma. It's been an adventure for this offense because they score a ton of points. They don't score a ton of points. They move the ball. They rack up a bunch of yards is what I meant to say. And they don't score a lot of points. They turn the ball. They seem to turn the ball over when the field constricts. That's when most of their turnovers occur. Nussmeier's decision-making has been problematic. And I just think that Vandy's defense is much more organized. They're mature. As Brian Kelly said, they're a mature team. They have ninth-year seniors. So they I think just schematically they can give LSU some fits. And then offensively, I think they can control the ball a little bit. Vandy's path to winning here, Steve, Jake, Mike, is turning this thing into a low-scoring rock fight. A ball control, low-scoring rock fight where there's going to be some sort of play in special teams. You turn Nussmeier over a couple times, and you just kind of capitalize on that and capitalize on the fact that they struggle to score. And then you can get some, like, a couple of short fields, and you win this like 20-17, like one of those type of games favors Vandy. If LSU can somehow get beyond their peak, which is 24, I think if they can get beyond 24 points, they win this game.
LSU's been good at winning rock fights, though. Clemson was 17-10, then Florida 20-10, South Carolina 20-10. I think they're comfortable in those lower score games too.
That is very true. That is very true. But honestly, it's going to be, I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but Vandy's offense might be better than Clemson.
Maybe.
Their O-line probably is.
Yeah.
What if Vandy's defense is just as good as anybody else's that LSU has played this year?
They're not great against the pass. They're not good against the pass. That's the thing that scares me. But
Nussmeier has not been great at passing this year.
That's also true.
Right.
This is a tough one to pick. I mean, honestly, obviously, I'm the host of Locked On Vandy. There's no doubt who I'm going to pick in the rock fight, but it's honestly a tough one.
It is
because
Mm-hmm.
LSU can win rock fights. They're explosive. They have a lot of talent. They haven't put it all together yet, but it's just those mistakes I think that they're prone to, and I think Vandy has an edge in special teams. Like that could be a difference maker.
And like you said, Corey, that Vandy may be the best offense they've seen so far.
Which is wild to say.
It is.
No, that is not true.
That
is not. Ole Miss is the best offense.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about. Them playing Ole Miss. Okay, the second best offense, but we've seen what happened against Ole Miss. They got killed.
I was seeing Steve over there simmering. I'm like,
it's like, what are y'all talking about? It's
I forgot about them playing a few weeks ago.
So, by the way, this LSU team is 2024 Ole Miss. That's what this LSU team is. They're going to lose some games. They're not going to be as good as they thought they were going to be when they bought all the players that they got, but they are still going to be immensely talented. And this season, they are going to blow somebody out. Yeah. I do not know who that team is going to be, but somebody is going to get severely cooked by LSU. It might be A&M. It might be Vandy. It's going to be a decent team, but it's just like that 2024 team. They did what they did to Arkansas. The LSU is going to do that to somebody.
And my hope, my contention is that this is 2024 Kentucky against Ole Miss, where you're just like, what? Where they just make it ugly.
I don't know if that is possible. Like I said, it's all dependent on LSU's offense.
Yeah.
If LSU can score 3 times in the first half, it's about to get ugly. If it's 17-7 at halftime, it's going to get ugly at that point because they're going to start to feel good.
Yeah.
if it is a 7-3 game at halftime, it's Katie bar the door. You got your rock fight at that point.
Yeah.
Another key, I think, and I talked about this with Corey when we were on Locked On Vandy. Vandy staying on schedule in the early downs is important. They're a very good first down team. They can't have third and longs. They have to make those things manageable. And to do that, you're going to have to keep LSU on their back foot. You can't let them pin their ears back, misdirections, shovel, counters, shifts, doing things like that.
A well-timed screen, which is what they're also capable of.
Can't have penalties. That's a simple thing to say for everybody, but Vandy has to stay on schedule up to and including third downs.
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt. So let's pick this one. This is a tough one. I'll throw mine out there. Obviously, I'm picking Vandy 2017. I think they win this game. It's a 11 a.m. kick at First Bank Stadium, and LSU's been practicing that way because they've been on break. But LSU just has not done well in 11 a.m. kicks. It's certainly one of those games where they can get frustrated, a special teams play that could break something open, and a couple of mistakes that Vanderbilt can jump on, grab the momentum, and control the game. I think they're certainly capable of doing that, and that's my prediction. So like 2017, 17-14, something like that.
I do think that LSU is going to cover as a road dog in this game. Even as a top 10, I think they're going to get right. That defense is probably the best defense in the Southeastern Conference this year. They're so long and athletic. I think they're just going to cause some problems. There's only so much you can do with X's and O's. At some point, it's going to be Jimmy's and Joe's. And I think this game could be problematic for the Vanderbilt Commodores.
I think Vandy wins by a field goal, maybe 4. Very tight game, small margins. But I like Vandy in a close one.
Jake?
Yeah, I'm taking Vandy as well. One thing that I want to see happen is I went back and watched the Alabama-Vandy game, and one thing I noticed was in the second half, Diego Pavia on some reads, he kept the ball himself and didn't get nowhere with it. He needs to learn that he's got other guys around him that can make plays as well. Now, the dude is special for sure. But Alexander, I think, only got 4 carries in that second half against Alabama. That cannot happen in this game here. He's got to get the rock more.
They can't.
Yeah, so I'm taking Vandy to win at home.
Diego's got to not play hero ball.
Right.
Which that he kind of got outside of himself. He had been doing really good about that before.
Yeah.
Le'Veon Moss is listed as out on the availability report tonight for the Texas A&M Arkansas game.
Well, let's get into that one.
Oh,
Texas
man.
A&M Arkansas, Le'Veon, I was about to say Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Moss out, Arkansas, 7.5-point underdogs. That game just got really interesting. A&M is another one of those teams where, they're in the top 10, but they just really haven't put it together. I compared A&M and LSU of like two of the most talented teams out there. They just, for whatever reason, haven't clicked yet. And if they don't click against a very motivated Arkansas team, could pose some problems here. And I'm not saying Arkansas is necessarily going to win, but I do think they do cover this. I think it's like the Tennessee game where they're good enough to be in it at the end, but I think Texas A&M just inches across that finish line, and they win this game. But Arkansas does get the cover.
I like it.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, for me, I've been pretty high on Arkansas lately, not in terms of winning games, but in covering their losses, which they've been pretty good at against the spread lately. But I'm shifting a little bit. I like A&M to cover this one, even though it is a very tricky spread on the road, 7.5. You get that hook after the touchdown, but A&M's been playing very well in the second half, so I'm going to give them the A&M the nod there.
Nice.
I'm going to go with A&M because after the Notre Dame game, I just can't take Arkansas until I see it with my eyes.
They did cover against Tennessee, though, last week in Bobby Peaceburg's game.
Yeah.
I actually watched a lot of that game.
I did
Fun
too.
game.
Yeah.
Fun game.
it was a fun game. It was better than
Arkansas is definitely playing, better and more motivated under Bobby P, which I expected. But I think A&M is going to do just enough to win and cover this game. I think they're just too talented of a team to lose or lose a game like this.
Cinematic.
Yep.
Cinematic. I love it. So our next kind of featured matchup, Mississippi State at Florida. This is very, very interesting because reports, not really reports, but rumors are that Billy Napier won't get out of the weekend as the Florida head coach. And that's pretty damning on a Thursday when you're trying to figure out, when you're trying to prepare your team, because you think they're focused over there in Gainesville. Absolutely freaking not. And they're double-digit favorites against Mississippi State, who is very hungry for their first SEC win under Jeff Lebby. I'm definitely going Mississippi State here. They are definitely going to cover. They may win outright because Florida is about to go down the tubes. This season's about to kind of be a wash with this Billy Napier news. And they might just say, you know what? Might be a Sam Pittman thing where they just they quit on him.
I'm with you there. I like the Bulldogs to cover this one. I did want to ask you guys a question about that scenario, though. With the Billy thing, they've won games when he's on the hot seat,
right?
And it always circles back of when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? Do you think Penn State firing Franklin when they did has affected the Florida decision and timeline at all? Is what I wanted to ask. And process.
Yes. I think this is way too much of a coincidence that all these rumors started getting hot and heavy after James Franklin got fired.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
He would be a convenient hire for them too if it would happen. He would be good. Yeah.
He would be scary, is what he would be.
Yeah,
he would be.
James Franklin at Florida.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to go be in Athens.
That's right.
And a lot of people are saying that he's going to trek on down to Florida after his interview. So
I love the fact that Game Day has an interview with him because
a live interview.
I don't think he will do it, but he needs to just go complete scorched earth.
Yeah, for sure.
Great.
But that would be phenomenal.
I think out of the only ones here, I actually am on Florida. I just, you talked about whenever Billy Napier's job's on the line, they seem to get motivated and win for some odd reason. It's just weird. But I think, Mississippi State having that monkey on their back of we haven't won a SEC game in 2 or 3 years now. I think that's going to get to them a little bit. It's going to be in the swamp. It's always tough. It don't matter how bad Florida is. It's always tough to win down there. So I think it's going to be tough to cover a 10-point spread plus the hook. But I think Florida does just enough, and I think they can win by 13 or something.
All right.
Yeah, on my list, I have Mississippi State, so I'm going to take Mississippi State. But this is one of those scary things because Jaden Bach could get loose, and Mississippi State has trouble stopping the run. So this could be like a 200-yard day for Jaden Bach, and you're look up, and it's man, I didn't even realize what was going on. But the line being that many points, I think Florida's going to win the game, but they're only going to beat State by 9, or something like that. And I think that's the way this is going to go. Jeff Lebby's going to eventually get his first SEC win, but that's not today. Yeah. And it's going to be hard to fire Billy Napier after that.
And was it Damian Wilson that's come back from Florida has played really well since
Dallas Wilson.
Dallas Wilson, yeah. So he's played really well since he's been back.
Yeah. For sure. And that's going to be an interesting one nonetheless. Speaking of interesting, Missouri, at one point this week they were underdogs at Auburn. The train
that happened.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was before Damari Alston asked for a red shirt.
Yeah. That was somebody in Vegas going, I'm sorry, I put the plus on the wrong number.
They were right. this is Missouri's first true road game outside the state of Missouri, and that stadium has all kinds of ghouls, ghosts, and goblins in a night game. I mean, most stadiums are worth 3 points for a home game. That stadium's worth 4.5. It just is. But whenever there was basically that mutiny, you're like, okay,
the ghosts and goblins went home.
Yeah, it was one of those things.
Up and went home.
Yeah, it's going to be a situation that Hugh Freeze gets whooped, gets fired. I'm at the point now where Hugh Freeze does not have a job before Billy Napier does not have a job.
That's wild.
Yeah,
that is wild because, man, that's okay. Here we go. It's going to be a roller coaster. It's going to be fun because they're going to try to get on the James Franklin sweepstakes too.
Yeah, I actually, we're going to be honest. If there's any college football team that lands John Gruden as a head coach, it's Auburn. That has Auburn written all over it.
Yeah,
that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Or Florida, if they decide to pull the trigger on fire.
I'm telling you, Florida's going to get James Franklin, and they're going to be scary good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They are.
The other Franklin one I could see would be, we talked about Arkansas a lot. If Lashley goes to Arkansas, Franklin to SMU would make a lot of sense.
It would, but the person that's going to get hired at Arkansas is Bobby Petrino. The rumor is that's already done.
Oh,
they tried to hire him as the head coach last winter, apparently.
Yeah, that don't surprise me.
Yeah. So I think Missouri's going to run away with this one, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not really much.
I think we all picked Mizzou.
I mean, Trinidad Chambliss is going to struggle in this game.
Everyone, Pat Dye, probably.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
No, you know.
Somebody said there was a tweet that said the school that employs Hugh Freeze that paid for Cam Newton and it has Pat Dye written on their field has a problem with the officiating.
Right. Yeah, I love it. One thing I have said about what happened last week is even though they lost all of the momentum when that happened, they still went and laid an egg in the second half. You cannot do that against the SEC.
Yeah, you cannot let that fumble just destroy you.
Right. A good coach team wouldn't, and I don't think
he'd be like, "No, screw that. We're still." I mean, they were still up.
If it was in the reverse situation, honestly, let's just do this. The reverse situation. The two teams in the stadium that night. Kirby tried a quarterback sneak, and that happened. That kept them from going up 17-0 as opposed to just 10-0. Do you think the second half they would have fallen apart?
No. Absolutely
not even a little bit. In fact, they would have probably kept doing the same thing, and it ends up being like 24-3 as a final.
I mean, in their three conference games, Oklahoma, A&M, Georgia, they've just wilted in the second half in these games, and all those games they've had chances to win. They've been competitive games.
They are,
but and it's not even like they've done some good things in the second half. They've looked really bad most of the second half of these games.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe it's because you can't throw the ball. Yeah.
Maybe it's because they don't have an offensive coordinator.
Yeah. They got 4.
They do.
Yeah. The third down guy is just terrible.
Hey, by the way, the third down guy was the quarterback for Ole Miss in the first football game I ever went to.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
What, 1847?
Y'all play Red Grange?
Yeah.
New Rock.
Was
he the guy before Archie? Yeah.
No. He was the guy after John Forcade who's on my show, by the way.
Oh,
okay.
Cool.
Yeah. That's cool.
That is actually cool.
Yeah.
So, all kidding aside, we were all on a sweep on Missouri.
He went to Brentwood Academy, by the way.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, we all swept Piggum, Missouri.
Yeah.
All right, now, Mike, this one's for you. Oklahoma traveling.
Long pitch tonight.
God, don't make me do this.
Oklahoma at South Carolina. Mike, I'm gonna start with you.
I've actually been awful at picking the Gamecocks up until the last couple weeks this year.
The hat's coming off. It's serious business.
No, maybe. But
What's the shirt?
What?
What's the shirt you got on tonight?
It's lips that are animal print. Very classy.
That is cool.
Um,
I love it.
It's like a Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin top. Yeah.
It
The
looks
Rolling
like it
Stones
should
with
have
the
like
Stones,
should be an advertisement for the Booby Bungalow or something.
yeah. I
Get off at exit 14.
am on the Gamecocks to cover this one. They're -4.5 at home, but that Oklahoma team last week was a shell of what we've seen the first part of the year. John Mateer is not healthy. He could not throw the ball. Where Oklahoma does scare me, they're extremely good at rushing the passer, and the Gamecocks are really bad at protecting Lenora Sellers.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're looking at a low-scoring game, and I don't know if the Gamecocks win. I think they keep it within a field goal, though. And just because they're also one of those teams, even in their bad years, there's that one night home game where they show up and just kick ass. Maybe that happens this weekend. I don't know.
It could.
Yeah. But that Oklahoma team was not good last weekend.
No.
So, and they can't run they haven't ran the ball well all year other than Mateer. So
Yeah, they'll continue not to. But it's weird. Like it's weird because if South Carolina was even slightly better than they are right now, and they weren't driving the struggle bus at high speeds down the interstate, I would be all over this game with South Carolina. But I just can't because they're just so bad on offense.
They are so bad.
They're so bad, and they shouldn't be.
No.
Because they have Nick Harbor and they
Wait
have
a second. Wait a second. Say Mike Shula 3 times.
Oh, I don't want him to appear behind me.
Yeah.
Oh, Jake, there he is.
No.
He was the last.
There's
Alabama
been a lot of there were a lot of grumblings this week to get rid of him.
Yeah.
He was probably the last Alabama coach that lost to Tennessee at home.
Probably.
The Gamecocks did fire the O-line coach this week.
Yeah, I did see that.
Sean Elliott in the house.
And,
he was coaching tight ends. Now he's O-line. Yeah.
And well, I saw a meme that said there was a picture of Sam Pittman, and it was from a Gamecock fan that said, you make him tell you no. You just give him whatever he wants to be an offensive line coach.
I don't think they can hire him. Like, I don't think you can hire somebody outside midseason, can you?
I don't know.
Like to be a position
As an
coach?
analyst, you probably could.
Yeah, right.
Consultant? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, consultant.
Those guys can coach now. Just ask Jerry Kill. Yeah.
But I'm picking South Carolina here. And I'm actually, for you, Mike, I'm actually going to pick them to pull the upset.
Thank you, Jake.
John Mateer looked so bad last week.
I want it to happen. I just don't think it will.
Well, Mateer looked so bad last week, and he was injured again, that thumb, because it was bleed on the sideline. Yeah. So he's not healthy. If he can't throw that ball, then they can't really do anything. And some of his passes, I mean, he threw 2 interceptions in the game last week. So he looked bad throwing it. So yeah, it might have been 3.
Just slightly better. I'd be on that.
I mean, I'm taking Oklahoma in the game, just because I can't pick Mike Shula to win games.
You just can't. You
They
can't.
don't need to win. Yeah. They need to cover.
I don't think they can do that. I really don't.
It's only
they
4.5
covered last week. No, they didn't. No.
7-3 Gamecocks. That's the final.
3-2.
Which Oklahoma covers in that situation.
Well, they do, but
no, 4.5, 7-3. The Gamecocks cover.
Yeah.
3-2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
3-2. All right. Our last one. Speaking of exciting matchups, Texas at Kentucky. 13.5 road favorite at Lexington. This is Arch Manning's first road game, right? His first time in Lexington.
Because they went to Ohio State.
They went to Ohio State. Yep.
Yeah. So that goes out the window.
Yeah, well, it won't be quite so intimidating as that.
No, Lexington, Columbus,
grocery bag,
same thing. No, it will be a weird environment because just when Kentucky's bad, it's like one of those environments where you just lose focus. You just walk in there, and I think it's a night game, right? If I'm looking at the spreadsheet correctly,
it is at 7. Yes, 7 Eastern. Yeah.
So a night game at Lexington when they're bad is a recipe for losing focus and making mistakes that you shouldn't. Like, there's so many years where Georgia walked out of there with like a 3-point win when they should have beat them by 45.
13-12 last year.
13-12
Yeah,
last year.
like 13-12 last year. Like, they should have blown them out.
Yep.
But they didn't, because it's just, that's a weird place. You want to talk about a place that has some voodoo. Like
that was a day game, I think.
No one. It was a night
It
game.
wasn't a night game.
It was a night game. That place, when the sun goes down, the voodoo comes out a little bit. Not quite as bad as Auburn, but it does come out. And teams just kind of struggle there a lot at night. They just kind of struggle, and not because Kentucky's making them struggle. It's just because they're just like, we just don't really want to be here.
You know,
I still think Texas wins this one, though.
Listen. This has a chance to be the 2024 Ole Miss Kentucky game. This has a chance to be the 2024 Kentucky Georgia game, to where it's just an absolute rock fight. And Texas is not good enough on offense to score more than 14 points in a ball game. Kentucky can get that at home. Kentucky's pretty good on special teams, and the defenses are going to be extremely good. So we'll see exactly how that goes. But listen, Kentucky can win this game if they don't turn over the ball, if they don't do stupid stuff, and just, hey, let's play field position and let Texas beat Texas. That has to be the game point. Don't try to beat Texas. Let Texas beat Texas. If that happens, Kentucky has a chance to pull the upset here. If not, I still like Kentucky to cover that line.
Yeah, for most of the things you just said, Steve, I'm also on Kentucky to cover. That Texas defense is elite. They're very good. On offense, they're not scoring. I don't trust them to blow anybody out there. They're not going to win by margin. And I think Kentucky's defense has enough to at least keep this game within 2 touchdowns, which is all they have to do.
Yeah, I'm picking Kentucky here. I think, you talk about big spreads. This ain't really a big spread, but in a game like this where neither offense can really score much, 13.5 is real big. And Kentucky being at home, I'm picking Kentucky to cover.
Why am I picking Texas? God, I'm stupid.
Thank you for picking Texas.
Damn it. Well, I mean, the last time I did this, they covered 45 points somehow. So, anyway, man, we went way overtime today. We went like Georgia Tech, 8 overtime. So, I don't have as many people shout out tonight. This is SEC After Dark. Thank you for joining us. Even on these marathon sessions, in season, they're usually more marathon sessions, but postseason we'll keep it to an hour. But Stephen Willis, Locked on Ole Miss, up to 16,500 subscribers.
It's a bunch of them.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of loomers out there, and it's, man, you're cooking, dude. You're like by 2 billion, the most watched Locked on Ole Miss podcast out there. Out of all the Locked on Ole Miss podcasts, you're definitely the most watched.
Yes, I have that market covered. Yeah. I am the top Locked on Ole Miss podcast.
That's right.
You are, and the rest of the competition, in all seriousness, it pales in comparison. So,
right.
If you're not watching Locked on Ole Miss, you're watching the wrong show. Mike Huseman, Off Season After Dark, Topper Talk was outstanding. It's just so interesting, man.
Yep, it was.
Just hearing the perspectives of like the conferences and the teams that you don't really like get to hear from. That's been the most fascinating part, because we all hear about Penn State, we all hear about whatever, but like the toppers, they don't get love, man. Like,
then they go get embarrassed the next day. I felt bad about that one to FIU. And next week's off-season episode, I'm having one of Steve's Locked On brothers, JT from Locked On Utah, is my guest next week.
So they're going to bet against Utah this week.
Yeah.
This weekend is the Holy War.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, another one of those underrated rivalries in college football.
Oh, it's brutal. It is brutal. The historical significance behind that too is
wild.
Yeah,
there's a Netflix series about it if you really want to know.
Yeah.
So, And Jake Thomas, your double shot of Bama. Bama After Dark, Tide Talk Live. Shout out to Stacy Blackwood from Tide Talk Live. Y'all do a tremendous job as a duo. And then you come off the top rope there with Bama After Dark, man. It's phenomenal. I caught a good chunk of your show, your last episode, so that was a treat. And
appreciate it.
And I host Locked On Vandy, which is very close. I just need 32 of you guys out there to hit that subscribe button, and I'll be past my first big benchmark. So, show's growing. Regular guys, it's one of those it's like the Florida roads, almost like you get started, you get established, but those cones just stay out there for a while between Israel's schedule in season and my schedule now with Locked On Vandy increasing. It's becoming increasingly difficult to produce that show, but at some point we'll be back because Israel is very interesting to talk to. So, and then Biscuits and SEC and rounds out the channel with Ole Miss After Dark. And man, this is a channel that's growing. Yep. It's a channel that's becoming more and more popular. So jump on board. After Dark Network, SEC After Dark is where we go. And until next time, until next week, enjoy the games. If you go to one of these games, be careful, be safe, enjoy it for what it is, and just have fun, man, because that's what we're all about here. Fun, fun, fun. So go Dogs, anchor down.
Spurs up.
Hotty toddy.
Roll Tide.